You know that mental ping pong match? The one you play inside your own head?
Oh, yeah. The endless what ifs.
Right, replaying conversations, second-guessing everything. It just drains your energy, doesn't it? Steals your peace.
It really does. It's incredibly common. And the research we looked at, well, it shows this isn't just annoying. It genuinely affects our well-being.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. This whole deep dive is about, practical tools, actionable stuff to calm that mental storm.
Yes, topping those overthinking spirals.
Our goal here is simple. By the end, you'll have techniques you can actually use, like starting now, to get some breathing room upstairs.
And just to be clear, it's not really about shutting off your thoughts completely. I mean, that's probably not realistic, right?
Good point.
It's more about learning to manage them,
Mm-hmm.
stepping out of those loops, using your mental energy, well, better, more intentionally.
Okay, so let's talk impact. Because it's more than just feeling a bit frazzled. Our sources linked chronic overthinking to some pretty significant stuff.
Yeah, they did. The material points to definite links with higher stress levels,
Yeah.
even increased risk for depression, and just that general feeling of being wiped out, fatigue,
Makes sense. Your brain's working overtime.
constantly. Even when you think you're relaxing,
Yeah.
it's burning through energy.
You can feel that mental exhaustion sometimes. But here's something hopeful from the sources. This overthinking thing, it's not like who you are. It's not fixed.
Exactly. That's crucial. It's a pattern, a cognitive habit. Think of it maybe like a path you walk across a field all the time.
Okay.
The more you use it, the deeper it gets, right? Your brain just gets used to taking that overthinking route out of, well, habit.
That's a great way to put it. So these tools we're going to talk about, they're like creating new paths, gentler paths.
Pretty much. New routes towards calm, towards clarity.
Get cutting through the weeds, maybe.
Okay, I like that. So, given how easy it is to follow those old worry paths, what's a good first step? How do we start carving a new one? Well, a really powerful first tool, especially when you feel those thoughts spinning up, is about getting grounded.
Yeah.
Right here, right now, using your senses.
Grounded, like physically.
Mentally grounded,
Yeah.
using physical sensations. It's often called the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise, sensory grounding.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How does just, noticing stuff around me actually stop the mental hamster wheel?
It's quite clever, actually. The literature suggests that when you deliberately shift your focus like that, from inside your head to the outside world,
Yeah.
it acts like a circuit breaker. You're giving your mind a different job, a very concrete, immediate job, and that interrupts the rumination cycle, pulls you back into your body, into the present.
Okay, interesting. Walk me through it. How do we do it?
Super simple. First, just look around. Find 5 things you can see. Anything. Really look at them. Color, shape, whatever.
Okay, 5 things I see.
Then 4 things you can touch or feel. The texture of your clothes, the chair you're sitting on, maybe the air temperature.
4 things I can
Yeah.
feel. Right.
Next, tune into your hearing. What are 3 distinct sounds you can pick out? Could be faint, could be obvious.
3 sounds. Okay.
Then, 2 things you can smell. Sometimes this takes a bit more focus. Even subtle smells count.
2 smells.
And finally, 1 thing you can taste. Maybe the lingering taste of coffee, or just the neutral taste in your mouth.
Pause. Okay. Just doing that quickly. Noticing my screen, the feeling of the desk, hearing that low hum. It did shift my focus. Like my brain had to switch gears.
That's it, exactly. It's like an emergency brake for racing thoughts. You're giving your mind these anchors, concrete things in the present. It slows down that internal chatter.
I read somewhere it can even like quiet down the parts of the brain that do all that self-focused thinking.
Yeah, some studies suggest that kind of focused attention can temporarily reduce activity in those regions.
Oh.
So it's not just distraction, there's a physiological element too.
Wow. Okay, that's a solid first tool, the emergency brake. Love it. What's next? What's tool number 2?
So tool number 2 gets more into the content of the thoughts. Because like we said, overthinking often involves these negative predictions, right? Worst case scenarios.
Definitely. My brain loves those.
Mine too. So this tool is called thought reframing.
Reframing. So not just ignoring the thought, but actively changing it.
Precisely. A
Yeah.
lot of overthinking comes from that catastrophic thinking, jumping to the worst possible outcome. It's often our brain trying to protect us, but it's usually a false alarm.
Yeah, fear talking, not facts.
Exactly. So reframing is about challenging those negative assumptions. Consciously looking for other possibilities, more balanced ones, flipping the script like you said earlier.
Okay, give me an example. A common worry. How would we reframe it?
Sure. Let's take, what if I totally mess up this presentation? That's a classic overthinking loop starter.
Yep, been there.
So to reframe it, Instead of just dwelling on messing up, you could ask, okay, what if I actually do better than I expect? Or even if I stumble a bit, what if I still get the main points across? And hey, I'll learn something for next time.
Ah, I see. It's not just flipping to pure optimism necessarily. It's about opening up the possibilities beyond just disaster, acknowledging learning too.
Exactly. You're moving away from that single point of failure. A really simple way to prompt this is asking yourself, what if a more positive or neutral outcome happens instead?
What if instead? Oh,
Yeah, just asking that question can, honestly, calm your nervous system a bit. It broadens your perspective, lets some air in.
yeah, it feels less trapped, less certain doom. Okay, that's
Yeah.
powerful. Consciously choosing a different mental road. So we have grounding with senses and reframing the thoughts themselves. What's the third tool?
The third one really brings it back to basics. It highlights how powerful simple things can be. It's the pause and breathe, reset.
Just pause and breathe. That sounds almost too simple for something like overthinking.
I know, right? But the physiological effects are real, and lots of sources back this up. Deep, intentional breathing. It sends a direct message to your nervous system,
What kind of message?
a message saying you're safe. It helps counteract that fight-or-flight stress response that fuels the overthinking spiral, slows your heart rate, eases that anxious feeling. We're talking maybe like a 60-second reset.
Okay. How do we do it? Guide us through the technique.
It's really straightforward. Just 3 deep breaths
Sure.
like this. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Count to 4.
Okay. Inhales quietly.
Gently hold it for 4 counts. And then slowly breathe out through your mouth for 4 counts.
Exhale slowly.
Let's do one more together.
Yeah.
Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. What do you notice?
Yeah, even just those two, it does feel like a little anchor. A moment of quiet in the middle of everything.
Exactly. And doing that 3 times reinforces that I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm in control signal to your brain. Practice this consistently, even for a minute. And over time, it helps rewire that stress response, moves you from panic towards, well, peace.
Okay, so 3 really practical tools: grounding, reframing, breathing. But how do we make these stick so they become habits, not just things we scramble for when we're already deep in the weeds?
Great question. That's where building a sort of anti-overthinking routine comes in, being proactive, not just reactive.
How about routine? Okay. What might that look like? Can you give us some practical examples, something we could actually try?
Yeah, definitely. You could try weaving them into different parts of your day, like maybe in the morning as you're starting out.
Okay.
Take a moment, notice any anxious thoughts popping up, and then maybe just jot down, say, 3 positive reframes for them, like we talked about.
So starting the day by actively challenging those worries, setting a different tone.
Exactly. Sets a more positive, proactive tone for your thinking right from the start.
Okay, good one. What about like midday, when things get stressful?
That's the perfect time for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. When you feel that stress building or your mind starting to spin, take 60 seconds, do the grounding exercise. It's quick, nobody needs to know, and bam, back in the present.
A quick sensory reset interrupts the worry flow. Makes sense. And then maybe evening, winding down.
Definitely. Before bed, that pause and breathe reset can be amazing. You know how your mind can race when you're trying to sleep.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. So just a minute or 2 of those slow, deep breaths helps clear out that mental clutter. Signals to your body, your mind, okay, it's time to chill, time for sleep.
So it's really about consistency, isn't it? Not expecting miracles overnight, but knowing these small actions add up.
That's exactly it. You're building that mental resilience muscle.
Yeah.
Like going to the gym, but for your mind. They're not magic wands, but they get more effective the more you use them. Consistently.
This has been super helpful. Really concrete stuff. So for you listening, here's the challenge next time. The very next time you notice that overthinking feeling creeping in.
That familiar spiral.
Yeah. Choose one, just one of these tools. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. Try reframing that specific thought. Or just take those 3 deep breaths, pause, and breathe.
And then, this is important, take a second afterwards.
Yeah.
Just notice, how did it feel? Did it shift anything? Even slightly.
Yeah.
Becoming aware of how these work for you is key.
Absolutely. And remember this, it's maybe the biggest takeaway. You are not your thoughts. You really do have the power to choose peace over panic.
You do.
It's about taking back control, one breath at a time, one thought at a time, one day at a time.
Think of this deep dive as just the start, an invitation to explore your own ability to find calm. Every little step counts. And, something else maybe think about building on this is figuring out your personal overthinking triggers, what sets you off. Because knowing that could make these tools even more effective, something to explore.